So there you go. It's the 2017 budget that will start off today with on our discussion segment of the program. And we're joined this morning by Honorable Tajudeen Yusuf, who is the Chairman House Committee on Capital Markets. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you. Good morning. It's a pleasure. It's mine.
We understand that, there's this joint public hearing in the National Assembly is the first of its kind. We're also told. Let's start with that. What informed that decision to have that joint session?
Not just a joint session of National Assembly, a public hearing, and a lot of individuals and organizations are given the privilege to look at the budget and make contribution. What informed that? Over the time, you've been criticized for not democratizing the process enough, and it is the nature of the constitution we operate. In America, you cannot amend a bill without it going to every county, do a public hearing. You don't do a public hearing at the Capitol here, at the American Parliament alone. You go to every county to do a public hearing. Else, one individual can go to court and quash the whole process. So, with this complaint from Nigerians, I think the leadership of the National Assembly, both chambers, sat down and said, let's begin the process of giving the budget more public participation. We are yet to consider to go into approving the budget. We are just considering it. So we want input. There have been a lot of NGOs who have done a lot of research. The budget is out. They sit down, come out with gray areas. So this year they are allowed to come to the public hearing, make presentations, and let some of the MDAs be there to listen to public opinion or perspective about what they are budgeted.
So is that to say that whatever recommendations or suggestions are made by the public in that joint session of the public hearing will be taken into consideration when the bill is being passed?
That is the intention, because one of the greatest challenge of our democracy is that the National Assembly, unfortunately, is deficit in integrity. So a lot of people already have a pigeonhole mind about certain perspectives. So the idea of bringing to the public is that, come, we're not the only ones seeing this. The public too feel this way. And there are items that are so funny and frivolous. One, the nomenclature for the subhead, I don't know where we're getting them from.
The subheads in the budget?
The subheading, you just find computer accessories, without details. And when you go into it, because we don't have strong institutions, we have a lot of challenge. So the idea of this is, okay, let the public come into it, participate, itemize and identify these gray areas together with us, so that when we were able to kind of put our foot down and say we do not support this, the public will know that we are on the same page. We saw this too. Kitchen accessories, 200 something million naira. You bought last year. Is it that when you eat the spoon, you eat the pot, so you must budget? So they are funny.
You call it a public hearing. The truth of the matter is that it's not the first time that you try to have a situation like this or an exercise like this to look at other grey areas in the budget. But you have taken it a step further. That's what you're doing now. What assurance do you have that this will come out differently from similar exercises we've seen in the past?
This is the first time of this. What you'll be having before now are the committees oversighting relevant agencies. Go engage the agency, make it live. But this is the people were invited. Ordinarily, those who were part of the budget before, NGOs who do not have the local standing before now to be part of budget were invited. The public general were invited. And the assurance is that the mere fact that we have listened to the complaints, the mere fact that we have appreciated the fact that the fact that I'm a National Assembly does not mean I have monopoly of wisdom. Does not mean I'm the best in my community constituency. There are better places, very intelligent guys than myself. It pleases God to place me here. So let's tap into this various opinions and expertise that's available. And a lot of them are offering this expertise at free to nothing.
Let me understand something. In the House now, if you're to pass a bill, it goes through the motions. And then when it's time to vote we normally see, if they have to use the gavel, is either the yeas or the nays. So, if you have majority of APC in the House, and an item which the public had cried up against and saying, no, we don't want this to be passed, and it gets to the floor of the House, if majority say, no, we don't like what the public say, we want this to be done, what happens?
Unfortunately, that bad item will go through. However, I want to believe
that would defeat the purpose of the public hearing.
That would defeat the purpose. So it is not just to have a public hearing.
And that's normal. Members. That's lawmaking process.
Yeah. Yeah. What is more important is, for one, unfortunately we're not there yet. Let's not pretend about it. We must move from party-centric to the people. When it comes to the moment you are elected, I sit here boldly to say that I was elected into the National Assembly in 2011 under the platform of PDP, and I can hit my chest that most out of 10 critical motions against the government at that time, at least 2 came from me, and I'm PDP. That does not mean that is the practice. We still have this challenge. There are those who will call you and say, have you forgotten where you come from and what have you? But the moment you sign the oath of allegiance, it is not to the party. It's to the Nigerian Constitution. So until we move from those things and genuinely become more nationalistic, so that emotions don't rule us, next election does not determine what I vote on the floor. It's not about the next election. It's about the privilege I have to be in the National Assembly for 4 years. And that the legacy and the Nigerian people, the public too, must begin to reward those who genuinely stand this way. But unfortunately, you find those who genuinely stand for the truth, because they could not muster the enough resources, they are not back. So you now find people begin we need to caution yourself, and that the system, a society is not where we're supposed to be yet. So of a truth, no matter how robust the public hearing is, if members vote against that position, it will not scale through.
The question I want to ask is, how public is the public hearing?
To the extent that it is publicized, you are invited, you are not stopped from, nobody is restricted from coming. And to the extent that for those, over time, I must be sincere, I've been in the house since 2011, there are NGOs who consistently, on their own, send, the observation about budget to us. Consistently. The moment the budget is out, they give you some of the major challenge we have. Of the truth is that, I'm sorry, we don't have a budget yet. What we're doing is satisfying all, whatever is called. What is a budget? A budget is a proposal of what you think you want to do with the income you generate, so fiscal year.
Okay, we'll take it from there when we return in a moment. Do join us again.